Hello everyone, today in this video I am going to deal with the 6th chapter of Footprints Without Feet of class 10th. The title of the chapter is The Making of a Scientist by Robert W. Peterson. This chapter deals about a scientist named Richard Everett. Now before I move to the text, let me introduce you to the scientist Richard Everett. Richard H. Everett is an American molecular biologist. He is the Board of Governors Professor of Chemistry and Chemical Biology at Rutgers University and Laboratory Director at the Waxman Institute of Microbiology. So this is a brief introduction about Richard Everett. We will come to know about him in detail in this chapter. Now moving to the text. At the age of 22, a former Scout of the Year excited the scientific world with new theory on how cell works. Richard H. Everett and his college roommate explained the theory in an article in the Proceedings of National Academy of Science. So in this paragraph, we are being informed that Richard Everett, at the age of 22 only, he gave a theory along with his college roommate on how cell works, and his theory was published in the journal, that is Proceedings of National Academy of Science. It was the first time this important scientific journal had ever published the work of college student in sports that would be like making the big league at the age of 15 and hitting a home run, your first time at bat. For Richard Everett, it was first in a long string of achievement in science and other fields, and it all started with butterflies. So now we are being informed that for the first time this journal, Proceedings of National Academy of Science, has published the work of any college student. So for Richard Everett, it was like scoring a home run in baseball. And it is being said that this was his first achievement in science and in any other field, and that too his first very achievement got published in the journal Proceedings of National Academy of Science. And it is being said that this journey started with butterflies. So now let's see that how butterflies helped him to achieve this feat at the age of 22. An only child, Everett grew up north of Reading, Pennsylvania. There wasn't much I could do there, he said. I certainly could not play football or baseball with a team of one. But there was one thing I could do, collect things. So now he says that he was a single child and he grew up in north of Reading in Pennsylvania. And as he was all alone, he could not play any group game, a team game, where a team was required, and therefore he was left with doing only one thing, that is to collect things. So he used to collect things. That was his amusing activities, what he did in his free time. So he did, and did ever. Beginning in kindergarten, Everett collected butterflies with the same determination that has marked all his activities. He also collected rocks, fossils and coins. He became an eager astronomer too, sometimes stargazing all night. So now he started collecting things. He started collecting butterflies, rocks, fossils and coins. And sometimes even he became astronomer. It means so since his childhood, he was interested in collecting things, and he collected butterflies with firm determination. From the first, he had a driving curiosity along with a bright mind. He also had a mother who encouraged his interest in learning. She took him on trips, bought him telescope, microscopes, camera, mounting materials and other equipment, and helped him in many other ways. And now it is being said that he was very curious child and he had a bright mind. So this was the two things which he had, which was gifted to him since his childhood, and along with that he had a very good mother. His mother encouraged his interest. She never asked him to stop doing anything, even whatever he was interested. Instead of that, she helped him out. She used to buy telescope, microscope, cameras and different mounting materials and different other equipments in whatever he found he was interested. This is how his mother used to help him. I was his only companion until he started school, his mother said. After that, I would bring home friends for him, but at night we just did things together. Richie was my whole life after his father died when Richie was in 3rd grade. Now it is being informed by his mother that until he went to school, his only companion was his mother. And after that, when he started going to school, his mother used to bring some friends from his school to home in order to play with him. And then she says that, but again at night, she was her whole companion. His father had died when he was in 3rd grade. She and her son spent almost every evening at dining room table. If he did not have things to do, I found work for him, not physical work but learning things. His mother said he liked it, he wanted to learn, and learn he did. He earned top grades in school on everything. He was just like every other on everyday things. He was just like every other kid, his mother said. So now it is being informed again by his mother that during night, when he was left with no other activity, his mother used to give him something to learn. She used to find some work for him, some work of learning things she used to assign to him, and he used to learn all those things. So he was interested in learning. He had a deep interest in learning, and only because of that he earned top grades in school. And on the other activities, and other things of day-to-day life, he was just as the other kid of his age group. By the time he was in 2nd grade, Everett had collected all 25 species of butterflies found around his hometown. So in the previous paragraph, it was informed that he was well determined in his hobby of collecting butterflies, and therefore it is being said that when he reached in 2nd grade, he was by that time he was able to collect all 25 species of butterflies which was available around his hometown. So this is the list of butterflies, the species of butterflies which he has collected when he was in 2nd grade. That probably would have been the end of my butterfly collecting, he said, but then my mother got me a children's book called The Travel of Monarch X. That book, which told how monarch butterflies migrate to Central America, opened the world of science to the eager young collector. So again, the role of his mother is being shown over here. Again, she has given an assisting hand, a helping hand to him. He says that after collecting all varieties, all species of butterflies which was available around his hometown, he started losing interest in the species of butterflies because he had done with that work. Now he was left with no interest in butterflies, but as soon as his interest was losing in collecting butterflies, at that moment only his mother brought a book for him, and that was The Traveler of Monarch X. And in that book, it was given that how monarch butterflies migrate to Central America. So this book interested him, and he found something new in that book, and he became again interested in butterflies. At the end of the book, readers were invited to help study butterfly migration. They were asked to tag butterflies for research by Dr. Frederick A. Ugart of the University of Toronto, Canada. Evright's mother wrote to Dr. Ugart, and soon Evrigt was attaching light adhesive tags to the wings of monarch. Anyone who found a tagged butterfly was asked to send the tag to Dr. Ugart. So now in the end of that book, the book which his mother has given him, that is The Travel of Monarch X, in that book, the author of that book has invited people, his reader, to help him to find out, to help him to study, to conclude his research work. He was researching on the migration of butterflies, and he has asked for help at the end of that book, and he was interested, this boy, the Richard Evrigt was interested in that, and therefore his mother wrote a letter to Frederick Ugart, and very soon he started doing the work assigned in that book. So the work which was assigned by Dr. Ugart was that he had to tag butterflies, and that tagging should be done with light adhesive, and whosoever will find that butterflies with tags on its wing, he were asked to send that butterfly to Dr. Ugart. So this boy now started doing that, collecting butterflies and tagging the wings of butterflies. The butterfly collecting season around reading the butterfly collecting season around reading last 6 weeks in late summer. If you are going to chase them one by one, you cannot catch very many. So the next step for Evrigt was to raise a flock of butterflies. He would catch a female monarch, take her eggs and raise them in his basement through their life cycle, from egg to caterpillar, to pupa to adult butterfly. Then he would tag the butterfly's wing and let them go. For several years, his basement was home to thousands of monarchs in different stages of development. So now this boy, he got another assignment. Now again his curiosity and interest in butterfly was up, and as per the direction given by Dr. Ugart, he started collecting butterflies and tagging the wings of butterfly. So now he says there was a problem, that the season of butterfly used to last for only 6 weeks in late summer around Reading, the place where he used to live. So it was a problem. Running after each and every butterfly and catching one at a time, it was a challenging work. So what he started doing, he caught a female monarch, he took egg from that monarch, and after that he started rearing butterfly in the basement of his house only. So he started rearing butterfly, and once the butterfly was fully grown, he used to tag the wings of that butterfly, and then he used to leave that butterfly. So it is being said that for several years, his house, the basement of his house, was like a house of thousands monarchs in different stage of development. So this is how he started working on butterflies, and he started assisting Dr. Ugart. Eventually I began to lose interest in tagging butterflies. It's tedious and there's not much feedback. Evrigt said, in all the time I did, he laughed, only 2 butterflies I have tagged were recaptured, and they were not more than 75 miles from where I lived. So now he says that slowly and gradually he started losing interest in the work of tagging butterflies, and the reason was that the work was very tedious, very hard, it was difficult, and even it was not result fetching. There was no return, there was no result in that work. He says that he tagged butterflies for many days, for years, but only 2 butterflies were recaptured, and that too it was recaptured at a very short distance from his house, that is at 75 miles from where he lived. So the result was not result fetching, and therefore he was discouraged once again. Then in 7th grade he got a hint of what real science is when he entered a county science fair and lost. It was really sad feeling to sit there and not get anything while everybody else had won something. Everett said his entry was slide of frog tissues, which he showed under a microscope. He realized the winners had tried to do real experiment, not simply make a neat display. So now he gives us a brief of another incident which inspired him and which enabled him to know that what real science is. So it was when he was in 7th grade and he took part in county science fair. But he says that at that time he was not able to achieve any medal. He lost in that county science fair, and then he says at that time he realized that what real science is. So then he got to know that science is something related to real experiment. It's nothing of neat and simple display. So it has nothing to do with neat and tidy display which he has done for this county science fair. What he has prepared for this county science fair, he has prepared slide of frog tissue, and this is why he lost in that county science fair. And then he realized, instead of getting angry, disappointed, he introspected that why he lost in that county science fair, and then he come to know the thing which he has prepared, the slide which he has prepared is just a neat display of frog tissue. It's not a real experiment which the other winner has done in that county science fair. Already competitive spirit had drives Richard Everett was appearing. I knew that for the next year's fair I would have to do a real experiment, he said. The subject I knew most about was the insect work I had been doing in the past several years. So now that county science fair in which he has lost has inspired him and has given birth to a competitive spirit in him. And as a result, what happened? He started preparing for the next county science fair, and this time he was determined that he will display something which will be really an experiment, a real experiment, not a neat display of anything. So now he started thinking that what he should be preparing for the next county science fair, and for the last many years he was working in the field of insect only, and therefore it came to his mind that this is the only thing which I know, which I have been working in this field only. So let's see what he decided then. So he wrote to Dr. Ugart for ideas, and back came a stack of suggestions for experiments. Those kept Everett busy all through high school and led to a prize project in county and international science fair. So he was not able to decide that which topic he should choose, what experiment he should choose for the next year county science fair, and therefore what he did, he wrote a letter to Dr. Ugart for ideas, and he replied and he gave a number of experiments. He suggested number of experiments which he should carry out, and those experiments kept him busy throughout his high school. And he carried out those experiments, and he went to lead, and he won various prizes due to all those experiments only at national as well as at international science fair. For his 8th grade project, Everett tried to find the cause of viral disease that kills nearly all monarch caterpillars every few years. Everett thought the disease might be carried by beetle. He tried raising caterpillars in the presence of beetles. I did not get any result, he said, but I went ahead and showed that I had tried to experiment. This time I won. So this is about 8th grade. In 7th grade he has already lost in county science fair, but in 8th grade what he did, he started finding the cause of viral disease among monarch caterpillar. So Everett, he had a perception that the disease by which monarch caterpillar dies was being carried by beetle. So it was his thought process that beetle was the carrier of those diseases due to which monarch caterpillar used to die due to that viral disease. So what he started doing is, he started raising monarch caterpillar in the presence of beetle in order to study that whether it is true or not, that whether it is true that monarch caterpillar dies due to viral disease which is being carried by beetle. And therefore he started both raising beetle as well as monarch caterpillar together, but there was no result. And in 8th grade he showed this only. He showed an experiment without any result. He explained that this time I am going to show this, that I have tried to raise beetle as well as monarch caterpillar together in order to show that whether it is true that monarch caterpillar dies due to the viral disease which is being spread or which is being carried by beetle. But there was no result in it. But there was a result in the science county fair. So this time he got the first prize for this experiment. The next year his science fair project was testing the theory of viceroy butterflies copy monarchs. The theory was that viceroy look like monarchs because monarchs don't taste good to birds. Viceroys on the other hand do taste good to birds. So the more they look like monarchs, the less likely they are to become birds' dinner. So this is monarch, the first butterfly, this is monarch, and this one is viceroy butterfly. The second one is viceroy butterfly. So this time for next county science fair, what he did, he chose a topic that viceroy butterflies copies monarch. So this was the topic for his next county science fair. And what was the theory? That theory was that viceroy look like monarch because monarch don't taste good to bird. Viceroy on the other hand do taste good to birds. So the more they look like monarch, the less likely they are to become birds' dinner. So bird used to eat these butterflies, and therefore the theory says that viceroy used to look like monarch in order to avoid themselves to become a prey of bird. So in order to not become a food of bird, they used to copy themselves like monarch in order to escape themselves, in order to not to be a food of bird. Everett project was to see whether in fact birds would eat monarch. He found that a starling would not eat ordinary bird food. It would eat all monarch it could get. Everett said later research by other people showed that viceroy probably do copy the monarch. This project was placed first in the zoology division and third overall in county science fair. So he continued his study, and this time he presented this study in county science fair, and he found that viceroy used to copy monarch, and this project won him the first prize in county science fair in zoology division, and he won third prize overall in county science fair. So in zoology division he got the first prize, but he got third prize in overall category. In his second year in high school, Richard Everett began the research that led to his discovery of an unknown insect hormone. Indirectly, it also led to his new theory on life of cell. So in second year in high school, he again started carrying out his discovery, his experiment, and that led to the discovery of unknown insect hormone. And that discovery led him to the development of new theory on life of cell. So while experimenting on different things, while he was in second year, while he was experimenting on butterflies, a new insect hormone he discovered, and that insect hormone helped him to give the theory on life of cell. The question he tried to answer was simple: what is the purpose of 12 tiny gold spots on monarch pupa? So he was trying to find out that what was the purpose of tiny gold spot which used to be on the wings of monarch pupa. Everyone assumed the spot were just ornamental. Everett said, but Dr. Ugard did not believe it. So generally, the people used to believe that the 12 spot, the golden spot which was present there on the wings of monarch butterflies was an ornamental, but he as well as Dr. Ugard believes that it has nothing to do with ornamental, it was present there with certain purpose. To find the answer, Everett and other excellent science students first had to build a device that showed that the spots were producing a hormone necessary for butterflies' full development. So now Everett started working upon the golden spot which were present on the wings of butterflies. He believed that it was not ornamental, it was something related, it was something which produced hormones and which helped in the development of butterflies. So in order to prove that, the first thing which they need to do is they will have to develop a device which will help them to show that that golden spot present on the wings of butterfly produce certain hormones and which is necessary for the development of butterflies. This project won Everett first place in the county fair and entry into international science and engineering fair. Then he won third place for zoology. He also got chance to work during summer at entomology laboratory of Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. So he carried out this project. He built device to find out the purpose of golden spot on the wings of butterflies, and for that he won first prize in county science fair and he got entry into international science and engineering fair, and there also he got third place in geology section and he got chance to work during summer at entomology laboratory of Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. So now what is entomology? Entomology is the study of insects. As a high school junior, Richard Everett continued his advanced experiments on monarch pupa. That year, his project won first place at International Science Fair and gave him another chance to work in Army laboratory during this summer. So again at high school, when he was high school junior, at that time he continued his experiment on monarch pupa, and again this time due to his experiment which he was carrying on monarch pupa, he won at International Science Fair. He won first prize at International Science Fair and again he got chance to work at Army laboratory during summer. In his senior year, he went a step further. He grew cell from monarch's wing in culture and showed that the cell would divide and develop into normal butterfly wings scales only if they were fed the hormone from the gold spots. So as a senior, when he was in the higher year, during the final year, he moved a step further, and what he did, he grew cell in culture. He grew cell from monarch's wing in culture and showed that cell would divide. So this time he experimented on the cell. He grew cell from the monarch's wing in culture and he showed that cell may divide and develop into normal butterfly if it is being fed with the hormones which is being liberated, the hormone which is being produced by the golden spots which is present in the wings of butterflies. That project won first place for zoology at International Fair. He spent the summer after graduation doing further work at Army Laboratory and at Laboratory of US Department of Agriculture. So again that experiment led him to win first prize for zoology at International Science Fair, and again he worked during a summer vacation at Army Laboratory and the Laboratory of US Department of Agriculture. The following summer, after his freshman year at Harvard University, Everett went back to Laboratory of Department of Agriculture and did mock work on hormone from gold spots. Using the laboratory's sophisticated instrument, he was able to identify the hormone's chemical structure. So now when he was again during the following summer, he went to the Laboratory of Department of Agriculture, and there with the help of sophisticated instrument which was available in that laboratory, he studied the chemical structure of the hormone of butterfly which was present in the golden spot of the wings. A year and a half later, during his senior year, Everett got the idea of his new theory about cell life. It came while he was looking at X-ray photo of chemical structure of hormone. So, a year and a half later, when he has prepared the chemical structure, the structure of cell, after that, which we have discussed in the last paragraph, that is the hormone's chemical structure, he has prepared using the sophisticated instrument. So while he was looking at the X-ray of those chemical structure, at that time only he got the idea about the new theory of cell which he has published in the journal, that is the Proceedings of National Academy of Science. So while he was looking at the X-ray which he has developed in the Laboratory of Department of Agriculture, he developed the theory of cell. When he saw those photos, Everett did not shout Eureka or even I have got it, but he believed that along with his findings about insects' hormone, the photo gave him the answer to one biologist's puzzle how the cell can read the blueprint of its DNA. DNA is the substance in which nucleus of a cell that control heredity. It determines the form and function of the cell. Thus, DNA is the blueprint for life. So, while he was looking at the X-ray of chemical structure of hormone, the idea of the theory of cell come to his mind. While looking at that photo, he come to the conclusion that how cell used to copy DNA from the from the gene of parent cell. So he was able to solve the biggest puzzle of biology. The DNA of child used to copy the gene or the DNA from the parent cell. So how this copying is being done, he was able to conclude that in his cell theory while looking at the X-ray of chemical structure of hormone. Everett and his college roommate James R. Wong worked all that night drawing pictures and constructing plastic models of molecules to show how it could happen. Together they later wrote the paper that explained the theory. Surprising no one who knew him, Richard Everett graduated from Harvard with highest honors, second in his class of 1510. Everett went to become a graduate student researcher at Harvard Medical School. There he began doing experiments to test his theory. So the day when he has concluded about the theory of cell while looking at the X-ray, That night he was not able to sleep. He, along with his roommate James R. Wong, he worked throughout the night developing the different structure and drawing pictures of that cell structure and writing the cell theory. And after that, Richard Ebright graduated from Harvard University with the highest mark. He was the second. He achieved second position out of 1,500 students in his class. And after that, he went to become a graduate student researcher at Harvard Medical School, and there he again started doing experiment to test his hormone, to test his theory. So whatever theory, this theory about cell which he has given, again he started experimenting, studying that whether this theory was right or wrong. He started working on it, he started experimenting on it. If theory proves correct, it will be a big step toward understanding the process of life. It might also lead to new ideas of preventing some types of cancer and other diseases. All of this is possible because Ebright's scientific curiosity. His high school research into purpose of the spots on a monarch pupa eventually led him to this theory about cell life. So now in the previous paragraph we come to know that he has postulated the theory of cell while he was in graduation. At that time only he gave that theory, and that now he is graduate student researcher at Harvard Medical School, and till now he is experimenting on the same theory which he has given during his graduation. So now he believes that if that theory proves to be correct, then that theory will enable scientists and doctors to prevent the patient from life-taking diseases such as cancer and other diseases. How it would be possible? Because in that theory he was studying, he was experimenting, and he was trying to find out that how DNA is being copied from parent cell to daughter cell. So if the pattern he would be able to understand, then definitely some of the DNA which is the carrier of these life-taking diseases, even this type of hereditary diseases get transferred to children. So if he will come to know that how it is being copied, then at that stage only that copying may be stopped, and it may be that something may be done to alter that copy, and so that those diseases may not get transformed to the young generation, to the next generation. And this is how it was possible to stop, or this is how he would be able to prevent the spread of certain diseases such as cancer. So it is being said that his experiment about pupa, about the spot on the monarch pupa, led him to this point. So it was that experiment only which he started in high school has today led him to this position. Richard Ebright has been interested in science since he first began collecting butterflies, but not so deeply that he hasn't time for other interests. Ebright also became a champion debater and public speaker and a good canoeist and all-around outdoors person. He is also an expert photographer, particularly of nature and scientific exhibits. So since his birth only, Ebright was interested in science, but now he is deeply interested in science and he has left all other activities. He has totally engrossed himself in work or in order to carry out the experiment which he was carrying at that time. And he was not only a scientist, he was not only working on his experiment. Apart from that, he was a champion debater, he was a public speaker, he is a good canoeist, he is a all-rounder person. He is even photographer. So apart from experiments and a part of researching on these topics, he kept his interest in debating, in canoeing, in photography. So these are all his interests apart from science. In high school, Richard Everett was a straight A student. Because learning was easy, he turned a lot of his energy toward the debating and Model United Nations clubs. He also found someone to admire, Richard A. Wehrer, his social studies teacher and advisor to both clubs. Mr. Wehrer was the perfect person for me then. He opened my mind to new ideas, Everett said. So, during his school time, he was a A grade student. He scored A grade all the time. And now he has quoted the name of his social study teacher, that is Richard A. Wehrer. He said that he was his teacher as well as his advisor. He said that he opened his mind to the new ideas. Richard would always give that extra effort. Mr. Wehrer said, what pleased me was, here was this person who put in 3 or 4 hours at night doing debate research besides doing all his research with butterflies and his other interest. So now this man, his social studies teacher, he says that Richard was good at all his activities. Apart from keeping all his interest, apart from his research work, he used to give full dedicated 3 to 4 hours at night for researching the topic of debate. So he had a deep interest in butterflies. He used to experiment and study about butterflies. But apart from that, whatever topic for debate was offered to him, he used to do a whole research work on that topic for a long 3 to 4 hours in night on that topic, and this is what pleased Mr. Wehrer. Richard was competitive, Mr. Wehrer continued, but not in bad sense. He explained Richard wasn't interested in winning for winning's sake or winning to get prize. Rather, he was winning because he wanted to do the best job he could. For the right reasons, he wanted to be the best. So now, his social studies teacher, Mr. Wehrer, he continued to say that Richard was competitive in nature, but not competitive in nature in negative sense. He does not try to win to get first prize. He tried to win because he wanted to do the best job. He had the winning spirit. It was not like that he had the winning spirit, just he wanted to do the best, and this is why he says that we won the first prize all the time. So he had the competitive spirit, but in a right sense, not in order to get the prize, not for winning sake, just to do the thing in a best manner. And that is one of the ingredients in making of a scientist. Start with first rate mind, add curiosity, and mix in will to win for the right reason. If Wright has these qualities from the time of the book The Travel of Monarch X opened the world of science to him, Richard Wright has never lost his scientific curiosity. And Mr. Wehrer says that Richard Wright has all the qualities which a scientist should have. He possessed all the ingredients which is required to become a scientist. And what were those ingredients? That is, the first was first-rated mind. It is that he was brilliant, he was intelligent. The second is curiosity. He was quite curious child, and that's why since his birth he carried out his interest with a continuous determination throughout his life, and finally he come to the conclusion and he made a very extraordinary achievement and experiment in his life. And the third thing is that is the will to win for right reason, not a will to win in order to get a prize, but he had the will to win for the right reason, that is to do something which is the best. So he had the spirit to do the thing in a best manner, and these are the qualities which makes a scientist. So Everett possessed all those qualities, and he continued with the same spirit. His curiosity never died since he has read the book The Travel of Monarch X. So since that time, after reading that book, the curiosity which came to his heart and mind continued till end, and that book led him to become a scientist. After reading that book, the fire of curiosity never exhausted, and this is how he came to achieve the highest feat in his field. So this is all about this chapter. So this is how in this story, in this chapter, we come to know that how Richard Everett, with his continuous effort and determination, was able to achieve an extraordinary feat at the age of 22. This is all about this chapter. If you have any doubt, write in comment box. Thank you for watching this video.